Hello tubers, welcome to another live stream. This is a very bad time of day for Australian audiences to be watching a live stream, but hey, I'm live streaming because it's easy, and YouTube seems to favour creators who upload live streams. So here's a live stream. What is this? I have been, sorry about the bump, I have been gifted this baby, this beauty, this thing here, direct from China. It's a Wanhao D7. An epic unboxing needs an epic knife. Look at that. It's a Shun Japanese Damascus. I have been basically looking at the letterbox every single day waiting for this to turn up because I knew it was coming, and I'm not allowed to mention where it came from. I will say Wanhao didn't send it to me. I will say the company who it was purchased through didn't send it to me. This was gifted to me by a person who shall remain nameless, purely because they asked, that they don't want to be mentioned or named. So, here we go. I've got to say I'm super excited. Get away, bubble wrap. Anyone joined? Oh, somebody's watching. Hello, somebody. There was a bit of a delay in this getting shipped, purely because they can't ship by air the liquid. This will be the FEP. This is the flexible membrane that goes on the floor of the printer. The light shines through this, and the print actually happens right there, and then it suctions its way off as it moves up each layer, layer. Okay. Oh, crikey. That's the lid. Okay. No chat messages there. Feel free to say hi. I'm talking back if you want. I'm only on the mobile here, but I can type onto the screen. Ooh. I love the smell of new products. Reminds me of Christmas. Yeah. I hate that. I'll probably chop the plug off and replace it. I don't like travel adapters. Okay, the box is empty. That's everything. Let's have a look at it. What's that? Ah. That'll be the rubber that goes around the base of that. If it's anything like the Cocoon Create, it had the exact same rubber on the feet. So that shows that the Cocoon Create did come out of a Wanhao factory. But we knew that anyway. Okay, bit rough there. Looks like it's been cut. Has come all the way from China, so Yeah. Yes, normally you'd get this with the liquid, but they wouldn't ship it with the liquid because it had to go by air, and there's the MSDS on the liquids basically describes it as a corrosive. They've ticked so many boxes with what the hell this stuff could be nasty as, and it really does set off a few flags when it comes to shipping, because yeah, just go and have a look at MSDS or SDS for any of the liquids that go with this stuff. Yeah, it's a very small footprint. So the resin that I'll be using in this comes from an Australian manufacturer called Monocure 3D. They're actually a maker of other resins and materials that are UV cured. They really basically are a company that sells to industry, and they've found that, you know, there was a little side market there for the 3D printer world. So they formulated up some materials which they have reformulated since they released them. I was just talking to the owner about half an hour ago, and yeah, really nice guy. He recommended to buy this through another Australian company, who then just bought it from China and shipped it directly. Not unlike a lot of eBayers will do. So there's that. Look at the size of these big bloody zip ties. I haven't found a cord or anything yet. I was expecting, you know, a bunch of cables. It needs a HDMI cable. It needs a printer type cable. So hopefully they're in there. That's the build platform. The updated version of the build platform should be painted, from what I've heard. Charlie from Monocure was also recommending get a Raspberry Pi set up to drive it. They call it Nano DLP, and that is the software that is driving it. I reckon the software coming from Wanhao isn't that good, and you're better off using something like... he told me what to use it. The stuff I can't quite remember right now. If it comes to me, I'll mention it while I'm fiddling around with the zip tie here. Come on. Oh, I just cut the bloody thing. I like to keep these big ones. They're very handy. Got it. Alright. Push the clip open. That's it. So there's the painted build platform. Any of you watchers there got a thumbs up button? Just hit the thumbs up button. It makes YouTube like me. And what do we got here? This must be the build platform with the already installed flexible material. It looks kind of dusty and dirty. Oh, it's tight like a drum. It really is tight like a drum. Okay, there should be HDMI cable, printer cable, and a power cable. Printer cable, HDMI cable. What's that? Oh, I do get a container of resin. So they said this wasn't going to ship with it. They've just snuck it in there. Look at that. What's this? Gloves? Gloves? Now these bits hold, they go on there and hold the platform down from what I've seen, and then where'd the build platform go? Then that just sort of hangs there like that. A lot of the printers that you see come with like an orange box so that you can have the thing there and be watching it and not be getting poked in the eye by laser light. Kind of interesting to see that this didn't have that, and it's also kind of interesting to see that there's no book. There's not one piece of paper or documentation. And for a product at this price point, you would expect some sort of paperwork. If anyone's not familiar with how these things actually work, there's a standard LCD down there that has had the screen removed, the filter, and that screen is an LCD, and there's a light box under there, and it shines. Is that in shot? Yeah. So UV light shines through there, and then this creates a black and white contrasted picture, basically exposing a layer of resin, and then the build platform lifts up, and as it lifts up, it takes that shape, that burnt shape, that shadow, look up lithography, that'll describe to you how it works. Yeah, it's quite simple. Problems they have is it sticks to the build plate, because if you think about the suction forces between two different things, when you've got material bonded to here and a material that's been made here, then it's going to bond to that liquid, that surface, and that's why they've used a flexible membrane so it can peel away off that surface. And there's an offset between how big your support structure is compared to how big the piece it's trying to pull off the floor. So if you're making a print, and that stage of the print, the actual face of it is larger than the face of the support and the bit that is holding it onto bed, then the bed, this end will let go instead of this end. So there's really a fine tuning that you need to do to make sure your support structure and the size of your bed is big enough to hold what's printed. Cool. Ah, somebody's talking. Hello, Bailey's Banter. How are you, mate? Dan P. Hello, Dan. Thanks for dropping by, Lloyd. We've got another person there, number 3. Who's number 3? Who's watching? So yeah, there will be up and coming videos. Hello, Ashley. Welcome to the live stream. There'll be up and coming videos playing with this, obviously. So more live streams. I don't expect to have this thing printing very quickly. From what I've read, there's a lot of information. And there's a lot of what I would say. Yes, Lloyd, you can smell the goodness from there. I know you can. Dan P asking, any battery research of late? Not actually proper researching, no. I've had a tinker with a metal fabric the other day. That was more about making an electrode than it was about the battery chemistry. But yeah, I digress. We're talking about this thing today. Okay, what else can we talk about? Basically, how this came about, I was talking to somebody about UV curing, UV curable glues and stuff, and I put them onto Monocular 3D, and they went and had a good talk to Mr. Charlie Anderson about his products, and he recommended get one of these, get this thing, and use his liquid in it. Now, the person I'm talking about, wasn't so keen to dive into the tech savvy side of spending 2 to 3 days of getting this thing working nice, and really is waiting for the next generation of 3D printers when you just open it and it's consumer stuff and you just say, go, make me this thing, and it spits it out. So he's bought it for me to play with, I think, so that he can get a feel for what the market's like. And I'm you know, really I feel like it was as much a gift as it was, here, play with this, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And he may get some benefits from it when I decide to thank him by printing him some fancy things that I know he'll like. I thought I'd found the book, but it was actually out of another product. No book. Who ships a $700 product with no book? So, Bailey's Banter says we don't need instructions. Just put it together, says Dan. Oh, all right. Yes, yes. Well, I'd really want to clean this. It doesn't look super clean. It looks dusty. There's dust and crap on there that would affect the how well it came through. So I want to just throw a bit of alcohol over that before I put that down.
Where's my methylated spirits? Oh, there it is.
Okay. Now this is where we find out if FEP is affected by metho. It shouldn't be. It's a fluorinated product. They're usually very stable in all sorts of environments, these fluoridated products. There we go. We'll just swim that in there like that. Of course, this comes recommended by the Mezcal channel only. You didn't read this in the when how instructions. Oh, there isn't any! There you go. That's how not to make a fire hazard in your home. Okay, there's, yeah, there's flammable stuff all over the ground. Okay, that looks good. It's a lot cleaner than it was. And I don't want to wipe it. If I wipe it, then I'll put stuff on it again. It'll dry. Won't take long. It's metho. It's actually a very small ding in it there. It might be outside of the build platform anyway. Yeah, it looks like it is. Just going to lean you in there for a closer look. Yeah, sorry guys, you know, this is talking to a modem that is up the house. I'm in the shed and the modem doesn't really... I'd say everyone's having bad connections. I'm getting warnings from the YouTube platform telling me that it's not good. But that happens every time I live stream, so yeah. The way these things are built, it really isn't that technical. I mean, all you need is an LCD, an ultraviolet light, something controlling that screen to give it the, what do you call it, that silhouette that lets the light through, and a resin tank. One axis. If you look it up, there's so many people building their own of these, it's incredible. They just put it together already. Well, that's really all there is to it. Yeah. Yuck. Surely I've got one of these hanging around. Just use the bloody travel adapter. I hate these things. You imagine having this thing just gently fall out of, while you know, doing a print, and because of this bodgy bloody connection here, your print fails. The other thing is, with this machine, it needs to be tethered to the computer that's printing. So that's why a lot of people use a Raspberry Pi, and that is where I'll be going with this. I'll definitely be putting a Pi on it because I don't want to be tying up my laptop every time I print. Recommended to turn it on before you've actually got a thing to print on it. Probably should have screwed that up instead of dropping it on the ground. Blue light. It's the on button, is it? It's like there's some sort of sensor there. Take you off. I'm having connection issues moving the camera around since the link is really poor. There's not much more I can talk about other than there it is. She's unboxed. Look forward to more of this in the future, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to ask questions or those live viewing. But who said that? Thanks, Dan. Alrighty. Thanks for dropping by, guys. Thanks for dropping by, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.